Now this is one of those videos that I wish I would have been able to see or somebody would have made a couple of years ago, but they didn't. And so I'm going to. So today I want to talk about Bible quality in 3 different levels. And I'm going to be using Holman slash CSB Bibles to show this. But this is kind of across the board with almost everyone. The 3 different levels of a Bible. And I want to start off with your standard, I don't want to say Pew Bible. It's not a Pew Bible, but your next level up from a Pew Bible, your, let's say, $20 to $50 range of Bible, generally speaking. That's not including sales or special discounts and stuff like that. So what makes a $20 to $50 Bible? A couple of things to be looking for, or that you're going to notice, is the paper paste down liner here. This is, as you can see, or maybe you can't, I want you to be able to see here how that is cracking there. This is less than 1 year use, daily use though. I do use it. It does travel with me. It gets read out of almost every day. So I don't want you to think that, it's a shelf queen looking like this. The paper on the back started cracking pretty good. So I went ahead and added a piece of binding tape there. That is one of the bigger things for longevity here, is this. The second thing is your paper quality. Now this varies quite a bit from place to place. You'll see like ghosting and stuff like that in a lower quality. Holman does a really good job of a reasonable paper and weight, but yet still fairly cost effective. So that's nice. You can see some ghosting. It is a line by line though. So for a $20 Bible, it's really nice for what I want to use it for. So some people are going to say, man, I would go ahead and upgrade. Well, with me, one of the things is this Bible will get read through in 1 year, and I will put little notes in it. I will write down when I read through certain chapters and things like that. And after a year, I will give this to one of my children. After all my kids have a yearly passed down Bible, then I may give one to a friend or a close relative or something like that as a memento hand me down, but to continue being used. So I'm not too worried about having a Bible lifelong. This is another one here in that same quality range. Again, a paper paste down liner, but still, a good all-around Bible. There's absolutely nothing wrong with these Bibles. That one there, you can currently pick up, I think, for $40. It's a giant print, single column. Good, solid Bible. It's worth $40. Like I said, I read out of that little one every day. I mark it up. It's showing its wear, but it's not horrible by any means. Now, the next step up is kind of interesting. Let me grab another Bible over here. Or try to anyways. Make some noise. So, this one here is my nightstand Bible. So I read this almost every single morning, quite a bit. This is the next step up. So this is a leather bound, but it's a leather bound with a paste in liner, but this is more of a vinyl kind of liner. This holds up a little bit better than the paper does. And like I said, this one has a little over a year of daily use. It just stays in my nightstand, so it doesn't get beat up. It doesn't get carried around or anything. The paper quality, maybe slightly thicker, maybe. The print is nice, dark, bold. Holman, I think, does a really good job on these, and I'm sure other companies do as well. Just, I like the CSB, so Holman is one that I have more of. Still a little bit of ghosting, still line by line, but the biggest thing is the vinyl liner versus paper, which realistically, I think with their lower end ones, that $20 to $50 range one, I think I would happily pay $1 or two more if you just go ahead and do vinyl versus paper. I don't understand the saving those few pennies. This style of Bible here, this leather paste down vinyl liner, these are in that $50 to $80 range generally. They can be found cheaper sometimes, but sometimes not. They don't say what kind of leather it is, and I don't know if you can see what I'm getting ready to talk about on this leather. So a lot of times on this leather, let's see if I can point out a mark. What I'm trying to show you right now is the consistency of that grain pattern and how some of it almost looks like it's more textured, raised up a little bit more than other parts. Other parts seem kind of flat. That's because a lot of times this is a lower quality leather, maybe even a pigskin leather or something like that, but they stamp the grain pattern into it. So just as you would stamp in like your name or other things like that, they stamp this grain pattern in there, which is okay. This is another one that was stamped in. So in another video I'm going to do here shortly is how to condition and care for your leather Bibles, how to clean them, how to care for them, and things like that. This Bible here I've done a video on before, but if I were to have another one, this leather looks completely different now. Again, this is a vinyl line. This is like that $50, $60 Bible. Single print. Paper's right in that same quality. But now, since cleaning the leather and actually treating it and conditioning it, gets some moisture in there, now this one actually looks better as it pulled up and has almost thicker. It seems thicker now because it is. It's not pressed down, which makes it a little softer, which I have another one over here I did the same thing with, which is my desk Bible. And it has made it a little bit more floppy. But when doing so, well, it's not going to show anything really. It's black. But, and this again, this is a giant print, double column, reference into the verse. That I love this layout. This is, I think, one of the best ones. This is the world's stinkiest Bible, just so you know. There's a video on that as well. Paste down liner. But so when conditioning the Bible, you're getting moisture back into it, and that is going to show sometimes little flaws that they stamped out. Maybe some more scars, some inconsistency of, because if you can look possibly at that grain pattern, how it looks like it's running up and down with long verticals, and then you come over here to this corner, is still more of that stamping style. So it's almost looking like two different grain patterns there somewhat. I hope that's picking it up well for you. It's kind of hard to do so. So with that though, it's not a bad thing, just something to be considerate of. I do feel that if you're going to be using a Bible, conditioning that leather, cleaning it up, and stuff is going to be hugely beneficial because you'll be waterproofing it and stuff a little bit as well. And realistically, these Bibles should be getting used. But like I said, here in the future video, I'm going to show how to clean these, how to condition them, what to condition them with, a couple different options with that, just because you need to. So the third that I have here, and this is going to be that $80 to $170 range Bible. So what you're getting with that is a higher quality leather, but you're also getting a leather liner, and it's also reinforced here as well. It's not just a paste down liner. So with that, this is your weakest spot, and this is what holds, things together. So when this starts tearing and stuff, it starts having more issues. And actually, I think I may go grab another Bible to show you that's in between these ranges from a different manufacturer. So you can see how this has this ridge here. That's because I can't think of what it is, but it's more reinforced there. It gives a sturdier bundle. So on top of that, one, you have the pretty stuff. So your leather is usually a higher quality, thicker leather. You have your leather liner. It's more reinforced here. So your build quality is overall better. A lot of times your paper is better quality, but not always. So that means thicker, easier to get hold of, less ghosting. But it's not a ton. Like I said, Holman does really, really good. I'm going to walk to the other room, so if this mic cuts out, I'm sorry. But I want to go grab this other Bible and show you. But the handcrafted line and getting into that, $100+ Bible, you should expect a really, really great Bible. And you should expect a lifelong use Bible. One that you can read every day for many, many years. And I have no doubt that this Holman handcrafted Bible would be that, because the one below it, that leather paste down one, I've been using for over a year and I'm not seeing any issues with it at all. So it works out really, really great. This is going to be a little better construction. This Bible here that I want to show you is one that I read with my kids almost every single day. It's been in use a little bit over a year, probably getting close to a year and a half now. Not quite. It's, about a year and 4 months. This says genuine leather here. It's not this liner though. So this Bible here retails for $100. I picked it up as a misstamped version. So I think I picked this up for like $60 or somewhere around there. However, it started separating on this page here where it was pulling away from the stitching. So I went ahead and taped that just to try to keep it from doing it. And then it started separating on the second page. So instead of adding more tape, I added a little bit of book binder glue to those 2 pages to try and reinforce them. And this is what it's doing. It's just continuing to pull apart here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but so if that tears and pulls apart there, that means that this binding, or this here, will no longer stay together. Let's see if I can get this in a way where you can kind of see how it pulls through there. So if and when this tears, that means there's nothing keeping this cover attached to it. It's going to flip all the way open and stuff. I'm not happy with that, considering 2 to 3 times a year, this Bible goes on a trip with us, a family vacation trip, because this is where what we read out of daily. But this is a Tyndale Bible. And I like the leather. The leather's patina and nice, but just, I wish that wouldn't be tearing down. Now, you can see the back here isn't having any issues yet. Until you open it up a page and you can see how it's, well, hopefully you can see. I don't want to stretch it too much because I don't want it to rip straight up there. See how it's ripping and tearing there? It doesn't get abused. It sits on the kitchen table, goes to the bookshelf, from the bookshelf to the kitchen table, and 2 to 3 times a year it gets packed in a bag, goes to a Verbo or a relative's house, and just gets taken out once a day and read and packed back up and come back home and goes from the table to the bookshelf. So it's not being abused. And again, this has over a year use on it. And this is another one that I will be giving to a family member. This will actually be gifted to my wife as soon as we're finished reading. But I have color coded for each kid that I read with and the date that I read with them. And then I'll put little notes of little questions they ask or things like that where space allows. And that way she has a Bible that, she can see where we've read through together, when we've read through together, and stuff, which I think would be, I hope it's really nice for her that way. But that's the intent for it. So I'm not worried necessarily about too awful long term, because more than likely this will be kind of like a memento Bible for her as we go through and stuff, because she has her own Bibles. But I'd really like it to be still viable for her to pass down without it completely falling apart. But anyways, that's kind of the 3 levels of Bible that I think are within, somebody's budget. So the difference between that $20 to $50 range and that $50 to $80 range, I think it's, if you can afford it, it is worth stepping up to that leather vinyl liner. In most cases, this one here, I don't know. My daughters have the paper version, so it's the paper liner versus, I don't know if that's leather or vinyl on this one here, but they have the paper version, and one of my daughters, it's fallen apart, but she uses it. It's used every day, and hers goes to church every week with her and stuff, and it's showing a fair bit of wear on it as well. But not much more than this one here for the price difference of a $25 Bible to this one here. So all in all, a $20 to $50 Bible is going to get you a good life. Is going to get you a good reading. You're going to have a great relationship, more than likely, with Jesus before you wear that Bible out. If you want something a little bit more longevity, stepping up, I think is worth the value. That's where I would go for a Bible that I want to carry with me, would be that middle tier, like this one here, with the vinyl paste down stuff. It's not so overly expensive that you're worried about scuffing up the gilding too awful much or things like that. And if you absolutely love it, you can have it rebound. It is still this still has the stock ribbons in it. Not very many of my Bibles have those still. But, all in all, worthwhile. The handcrafted ones, man, they are nice. Or at least the Holman Handcrafted series. I know most manufacturers have, like I think ESV, Crossways, their Heirloom series or something like that. If you can afford those, great. But as long as you aren't buying something that you aren't going to use because it's too nice to use, unless that's your only purpose, that you're a collector for that reason. But if it's your reader, make sure you don't spend so much that you aren't willing to put it to work for you. Thanks for watching. Greatly appreciate it. A little longer video. I hope you got a lot out of it. Make sure to leave a comment and let me know what you think. God bless. Have a wonderful day.